Hello everyone, thanks for joining me at Let's Celebrate with Dreamy Designs. This video is a Part B, a second video that shows a demonstration of using two designs for 4 products. In the first video, I showed on my computer what I do to get the design to the right size for each product, and I customize or add to the picture using Canva. This video, I will use all of those designs for 4 products. First, I will use a kid sublimation tumbler. Next, 100% polyester washcloth. Then a sublimation bookmark. And finally, a sublimation notebook. To print my design, I use an Epson 8550, which I converted by switching out the printer ink upon purchasing it with sublimation ink. There are other great sublimation inks out there, but I use Linko's sublimation ink. The paper I use comes in 3 different sizes, which all fit this printer. The A-Sub sublimation paper comes in 8.5 by 11 inches, 8.5 by 14 inches, and 11 by 17 inches. The tumbler and mug press I use is a PYD Life Heat Press. And lastly, my heat press I use for shirts, ornaments, towels, and more is a VEVOR Heat Press. I will have links to all of my equipment and products down below. Now for the fun, let's get started. Before I grab my materials, I turn on my VEVOR Heat Press to 390 degrees for 75 seconds, and the PYD Life Tumbler Press to 380 degrees for 120 seconds, which I do twice. Next, I grab my puppy and a backpack design. If you like any of the designs in the video, I will add the link down in the description with a 40% off coupon. I also grab my kids' water tumbler, tumbler holder, scissors, heat-resistant tape, tape holder, lint roller, Clorox wipe, and paper towel. I just wanted to check the measurement, which was 5.2 inches and 8.8 inches wide. First, I clean off the tumbler using a Clorox wipe, then dry off with paper towel. Next, I use my lint roller to make sure no fuzzies are on it. Then, I cut my image out and check to see if I need to make any adjustments to the sides or the height. By placing it on the table, it helps to straighten the design. The tumbler holder helps keep the image nice and tight onto it. The key to a nice press is making sure the image is snug up against it. If there were any creases or spaces, the ink would not be able to transfer beautifully. Once the image is secure with the holder and my hands, I start taping the ends together using my heat-resistant tape. I'm a person who likes my design nice and secure, using lots of tape. So I trim any extra design that's hanging off the bottom. After taping the side and the bottom edge, I want to push my seam close to the tumbler with either my nail or anything kind of flat to push both edges in. Then I finish it off with more tape. I tape the top of the design to the tumbler as tight as I can. Lastly, I tape the bottom. Some may say that's too much tape, but I want it as firm as I can. Now that my tumbler is ready to go, I grab my pre-cut parchment sheets from Walmart and wrap the tumbler in one before placing it inside the tumbler press. Remember to use heat-resistant gloves because the tumbler will be very hot. After the first 120 seconds, I take it out and turn it a bit to adjust the placements, and then put it back in for one more round of 120 seconds at 380 degrees. Then I take it out and place it off to the side and turn off my machine. The next project I will be sublimating on is a washcloth. I got a pack of 100% polyester washcloths at the Dollar Tree. I've never tried these before, so I'm hoping for the best. Before grabbing my design, I first used my lint roller to grab anything off of the washcloth. I grab my design and then place my washcloth on top. I find it easier to adjust and tape the cloth directly onto my paper. The extra paper keeps my cloth firmly onto the design. The paper I printed it on was an 11 by 17 inches A-sub sublimation paper. Since my cloth was an 11 by 11 inches, I needed to use the bigger paper with this design. When I'm done taping all of the sides, I then place my parchment paper on top of my washcloth. My heat press is ready to go at 390 degrees for 75 seconds. When I place my cloth inside, I do a quick flip. I then remember my gloves. I then adjust any of the corners to make sure there were no folds. I grab a parchment sheet to go on top of the design, so no ink will transfer onto my heat press. I press firmly down and wait the 75 seconds. When it beeps, I take off the parchment and carefully take out the cloth wearing my gloves. I set it off to the side to let it cool down. The next project, I will adjust the temperature to 400 degrees for 50 seconds. I will be sublimating onto my sublimation bookmark. First thing I need to do is peel off that plastic on both sides. I have a Cricut tool used for peeling off vinyl. I love this tool, so I'm using it for peeling the clear protective film from the bookmark. Next, I wipe both surfaces with a disinfectant wipe, then dry it, and then use the lint roller. The next step is just cutting the two sides in half to place on top of the bookmark. When I have both images, I then place the bookmark on top of the one. I just eyeball to make sure it's even on all sides. The second one, I cut nice and close to the design to put on the very top. Then I use my heat-resistant tape to tape the top design onto the bookmark and the bottom design. Lastly, I put it in between my fold of parchment paper and place it inside my VEVOR Heat Press for 50 seconds at 400 degrees. Now you'll notice the temperature does go down a couple degrees when I'm pressing, and that's okay. It's still working well and heating the product. After I heat the one side, I then need to flip it onto the other side to press, since there are two images. Now for the last product to sublimate on, which is the notebook. I lay my notebook covers on top of the cat design. The covers have a matte side and a shiny side. I've never used these before, so I might have to play around to get the right temperature and time. For this video, I'm going to try 400 degrees for 50 seconds. I also double-check that my image was printed out in reverse, because when sublimating onto a product, you'll need to flip the image. I then used my lint roller to pick up any fuzz or hair. Then I carefully place the cover on top of the image. I just eyeball while lining the sides up as best as I can. Next, I place my heat-resistant tape onto the sides. Now I grab the second image and do it again. After the two images are ready for the heat press, I grab my parchment sheet to cover the front and the back, so no ink will carry through onto the heat press. Now I grab my gloves, which I purchased on Amazon, and then grab my product. When sublimating, I always have the image of the design on the top of the product, because then you are getting full force from the lid pressing down onto it. Once the cat design is sublimated, I grab the back of the notebook to do it again. When the second cat design is finished, I use my gloves to throw away the parchment paper and put the design off to the side to cool off. Now for the unveiling. I'm going to check out the kid tumbler first. Now my kids have used these tumblers for a few years now. I love them. They are super durable and keep the water cold for a long time. This one's cool because the spout to drink out of is kind of squishy. When I order a 4-pack, I got 2 pinks and 2 blue lids. First, I grabbed scissors to cut the tape off the bottom. I even used my vinyl picker to poke and pull the tape off. I just need to make sure I am careful in not damaging the design. Once I get a corner, it is then easy to unravel the whole paper. It is so cute. Let me know what you think in the comments. I am so happy with how it turned out. The second product I want to check out is the washcloth. All I do is grab a corner and pull up on the cloth. It peels off quite easy, Now it might just be me, but I'm really impressed with this one too. The cloth is nice and bright and quite soft. Not like those other kids' washcloths from the dollar store. And I really like how cute it is for my kiddos. So far, it's 2 for 2. The third unveiling is the short bookmark. This also is quite easy to peel off. I just grab a corner and pull up. It's adorable. I know my daughter will love it. The material seems like good quality. It is a little thicker than others I've seen and gives a great shine to the image on the product. I'll attach a tassel to complete the look. I'm going to give this look and bookmark review a 5-star review. I will definitely use more of these again. I purchased them on Amazon and will give the link down below in my description. But I really love the 2 sizes and tassels that it comes with. Last product to unveil is the notebook. I just pull the notebook up and gently peel off the tape. Now, after closely looking at this design, I see it nicely sublimated well, with no ghosting, but the shiny cover has bubbling on it. This shows me it was too hot, so next time I would lower the temperature to maybe 360 degrees for 50 seconds, or 400 degrees with a lower time, like maybe 25 seconds. All you can do is check if the product gives you times and try that first. This product did not come with recommended heating times, so unfortunately it's all trial and error. So my 4th product, I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5 stars, because once I sat down to attach it onto the coils, it was a very tedious project. I ended up getting very frustrated with trying to get it on. Thanks again for watching. I love creating something out of nothing. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe so you can check out my videos yet to come.